Frequent flyer, fly, la 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 la. Frequent flyer is back.
What's up? You checking out the Frequent Flyer? Welcome back to the channel. Smash the like button to show your support. If you're new to the channel, I'd like to extend the warmest welcome. So I'm out here at night to do some night flying, y'all. Something a little different than what I usually do a night flight with. Got this thing back out here, y'all. This is the SU-35. I can't remember the name of the maker of this thing, but this thing is pretty awesome. It's been getting a lot of praise from other content creators, and don't get me wrong, it does fly well and I do like this thing, but there is something that I think I want to address about this thing that I don't like, and it's actually something that hinders this thing's performance. I would say it's a weakness, and that thing that I'm talking about is the fact that this thing has control linkage from both control surfaces, the control surface for the wing and the tail, which is aileron and elevator. It has them linked together on both sides. So as you can see on this plane, this little jet has 2 servos in total, and each servo is on each side, and it has a long linkage from one control surface to the other. So these two are connected, and what that means is what this one is doing, this control surface has to do as well. There's no separate movement from these 2 control surfaces. And so I mean, this plane can fly and it flies well, but there's some maneuvers that I really like to do that you can't do with this thing. And I know some of you guys probably don't understand how, you know, mixing the channels can hinder you from being able to do something or whatnot, but I'll explain further. And so when you're flying these planes, these 4-channel planes, well, this one really isn't I wouldn't say that this is a true 4-channel, because you don't have yaw with this thing. So I would categorize this as a 3-channel. It would be a 2-channel if this didn't act as delta, meaning the control surfaces on this thing, on the tail, they do both. They do elevator and aileron, and that can be possible without these control surfaces on the wings. And what I mean by that is, if you need to do elevator, these control surfaces on the back, they both can go up and they both can go down, which is elevator, but they can also perform movements that'll control aileron. So for instance, in order to fly aileron to this side, to turn the plane this way, this control surface needs to go up and this control surface needs to go down. And so it can do that, and so that's what we call delta. And so you really don't need, in this instance where these act as delta wings there, you really don't need these control surfaces, but they have them there. I guess it would give it a little bit more leverage, a tiny bit more on elevator and spinning or whatnot, aileron, but having them linked together like that really stops you from yanking and banking. And so that's a move that I really like to do with these little 4-channel aircrafts that I have been flying. when you're in a tight space and you need to make a hard turn, a sharper turn, you can do what we call yanking and banking. Well, banking and yanking. So you're gonna bank to the side so you can bank, and then you yank, which will make it a tighter turn. I like to do that with the drones too. With the quads, I was doing it with the quads first, and you can do it with the planes. But you can't do it if both control surfaces are linked, because in order for you to yank and bank, this and this has to be moving up and down, you know, opposites of each other, and the tail, the control surfaces on the tail have to be both up, which is impossible with them linked together like that. You know, they have to do the same thing. So you can't have this control surface going up, this control surface going down, and both of these going up, because these are linked together. So if this one is going up, this one is going up with it, and if that one's going down, this one is going down with it. So I think I saw a video of Quadcopter 101. He was flying the J-35. It was a J-35 plane, I think. Yes, I think it was was it the J-35 or the F-35? I'm not sure. I think it's the J-35. I'll have it on the screen, the correction for you guys to see. But anyhow, he was talking about the control surfaces on that plane, and he was saying that it's really a 3-channel, because even though the control surfaces aren't linked like these on here are, they actually work together as if they are linked. So they both perform delta, so they both do aileron and elevator, and so that stops it from being able to yank and bank. And he was saying that you have to yank and bank to turn it, but he was saying that you can't turn it hard because it'll fall, it'll stall. I think he was overlooking that, the fact that you can't, if both control surfaces are mirroring each other, you can't yank and bank. And that's why whenever you try to do it, it falls out of the sky, it stalls. And that's what happened to me with this thing. And it took me a couple times to realize and figure it out why every time I try to do a yank and bank maneuver, this thing would fall out of the sky. It would do a wider turn when I try to correct it when it's falling, and it just resulted in a bunch of crashes with this thing. I know it looks like it's in tip-top shape now, but I have glued this thing a bunch of times. I've had just so many things. This nose was even broken off of it, and I had to glue the nose back. The tail was bent down. I had to glue that. I had to fix that. This thing is very easy to do repairs on, though. I like that. That's one thing I like about this thing. But this prop is chewed up. I didn't want to swap to the new prop. They do give you a spare prop, but I didn't want to swap to the spare prop because this one still works even though it's chewed up a little. And so even with all of that, with this thing, it's still an awesome flying craft. I really like the way that this thing glides. It glides very well. It's a really fast craft and all. And I kind of wish it had some yaw, but it does okay without the yaw. In order to do hard turns with this thing, you have to give it aileron. Just go all the way with the aileron. With the right stick, that is. You just go all the way full aileron, and it'll turn pretty tight enough, I think. And another thing I really like about this little plane here, we have a plane going up overhead there. But another thing that I really like about this thing is that it's deviated. So you can fly this thing with deviation. For those who are unfamiliar with that word, deviation, it's multi-protocol, a multi-protocol transmitter. So you can fly this with a multi-protocol radio. It's on the Moontop protocol. But one quick thing I had to say about that, this being on the the moon top protocol, I was unable to get the gyro and lights toggle to work until I went into the moon top protocol and swapped it to you have to select the H7 variation of that protocol, and then you'll get the lights popping on. I still haven't figured out how to toggle it, but I'm guessing that it's probably on the yaw axis, the yaw channel, so I'm going to do that later. I haven't done it now, so the lights are just going to stay on when I bind this thing to my Devo. I got my Devo out here. And the other thing is you can get it into manual mode and get the gyro switching off, toggling off and on when you bind it to that H7 protocol. And so I don't set rates with my Devo. I just go all the way as far as you can go, as far high as you can go with the rates, and I just use good management on the sticks. I believe in that, and not having a beginner rate, beginner throws and all. And so I guess I did enough yapping. Let's get this thing up in the air. Got the wheels on. We're going to try to take off from the floor, from the ground. Hopefully we don't bang it out again. We're going to try to remember not to try to bank this thing and yank it. Got to get that out of my head. I'm so used to doing it with the little 4-channel aircraft. Awesome lights in the rear. Let's turn the Devo on. Okay, we're bound. Let's try to take off with this thing. Kind of nervous about flying it at night. Well, let's get it. Did get it in the air. I don't know how to really land this thing. I'm not going to try to do any tricks or anything with it. Nerve-wracking enough just having this guy in the air at night, flying around these poles and everything. And try to bring it down. It's scary, man. Flying this thing at night. And try to land it. Oh! A hard landing. But I did get it down in one piece, I think. Yup. Kind of bent the landing gear there with that hard landing. But we got it down to one piece. So that's a quick night flight of this SU-35, y'all. Pretty awesome flyer. I just really don't like the fact that it has both control surfaces mirroring each other. I didn't even fly it in manual. I wouldn't dare to fly it in manual at night out here. Not that confident with this little guy yet. Nevertheless, it's really awesome. Thanks for watching. I plan to put some LEDs on the bottom of this, y'all.